The Chord Whisperer.
Okay. Now we're going to tackle a biggie. Day in the life. I saw a film the day of one. What a song. What a song. That's not a G chord. 2 songs at least, if not 3. Let's just outline what we know. I'm not going to play the orchestral crazy breakdown. Well, I might do, but it's not going to make it to the cut, I guarantee it. Told you. Okay, here we go. So, how do we know it's John Lennon? Because look, it goes up, it doesn't go down. In fact, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We have seen that exact thing before. Have we not? Come on. What? All you need is love and the first part of Day in Your Life are the same song. This is what I love. This is what I love about C chord charts. It's like stuff like this. Let me get that there so you can see it and stop moving it around so much. Look, it's the same. It's exactly the same. What happens after isn't, but that is exactly the same. So let's hear why they are the same, why they sound the same. So all you need is love. Even the same actual chords, G, D, E minor. Love it. Love moments like that. They're the same song. Anyway, as we probably talked about before, if this is being edited in any sort of chronological order, that's not unusual. All in the family of the original chords. But what I suppose what is unusual is that Paul McCartney would have gone the other way, and as I said before, he'd have gone that way. Or would he? We don't know. That's not a real thing. And then the lovely thing about using a C, G, A minor, it's the same shape, but one chord down, notice? This is an interesting shape. I wonder how many times John Lennon uses that, because it's not something that I'm used to seeing, to be honest, in my study of classical music. It's like a questioning phrase, isn't it? Because it doesn't resolve, but it doesn't come back through the fifth, and that's troubling. It just sort of hangs there. So this is super unusual, even though it doesn't look it, perhaps. Because where are we? Where does this phrase finish? And then just does the first bit again. I mean, you know, are we in G? We started in G, but we haven't reinforced, we haven't established the tonic in any way. It appears again, but it's not established again. So you tell me what key we're in. And this is late on, we know, in their songwriting career, so much more adventurous, much less giving a shit about what the rules of harmony should be, or writing conventional songs, or songs that sound good, or songs that you're going to be able to sing along. It's like, write the song that needs to be written now. Then the incredible turnaround, which is basically on a B7, I think. I think it's basically B7, which should take us into E. Yeah, it does. Wow, actually conformed to my expectations. Then, I don't know if Paul McCartney wrote this bit. Got up, get out of bed, dragged a comb across my head. It sounds much more like Paul McCartney. E to D, that is quite interesting. Then again governed by a bass line, but very simple chords, E, B, E, B. So that D chord is very much a rock Lennon sound, from E to D. Because D major doesn't live in the family of E major as we would normally think of it. But if you flatten that seventh note, it becomes D natural. It just gives us a slightly different range of chords. It sort of shifts our family of chords a little bit around the circle, and now it includes D major. It's sometimes called the Mixolydian on E, but that to me would suggest that actually we're in A, so let's not go down that road. But it's the E scale with the flattened 7, and that is much more of a bluesy, rocky sound. That's why D major can work, because it's a sound world that we're used to, one that we're not too shocked by. There we go. Now finally we have some conventional chord change modulation back in, using the classic 251 or 451 actually in this case. The bit that we just have to look at is clearly this. 5 chord reverse circle progression. It's really, really unusual. I'm definitely going to do a video about this. There are a few songs that use reverse circle progressions as purely as this. Notice they are all major chords as well. There are a few that might have 3 chords in a reverse circle progression, even less songs that would have 4, and even less that them would have 5. I won't waste it all on this video because it'll all make a great other video. Time Warp anyway has 5 in a row. So does this. So it's a really interesting progression in music, to be able to go from C major to E major one step at a time, sharpening your sound world a little bit each time, and then to do it again, to pop back into C and start again. It's just adding sharps. You can hear that it does something funny to me, and then almost I'd say a disappointingly conventional return to G. Here's what I think happened. Lennon comes into the recording studio, because I think by this point they're only in the studio, they weren't performing live. And he's like, yeah, I've got got this idea for a song. I think it's on Sgt. Pepper, isn't it? So it's like their first studio album. Now I go into a dream in the bridge. And things like, and then I want to go back to I read the news today, but I'm not quite sure how to get back from this. I can't just go straight back. It doesn't sound quite right. What am I going to do, Paul? What am I going to do? How am I going to get back in a way that, you know, doesn't sound like too lame? And Paul comes in with his classical music training. It's like, well, you just do a 2-5-1 back where you want to get to. Where do you want to get to? I want to get to G. Where have you ended up? A. I might say that a 2-5-1 and a 4-5-1 really kind of do the same thing in my mind. I know they're not the same thing, but let's say they're the same thing. So so it's a 4-5-1 in G. The 4 is the C chord, the 5 is the D chord. So we've got to play C, D, G. And that is a really convincing way of getting into the key of G, either if we're already there to establish it or re-establish it at the beginning or the end, or if we're not there. In this case, we're not there, we're in E. So, I mean, you could fall back through the circle. That's probably what I would do. I'd just go E major, A7, D7, G. But he just goes, no, let's go from E and let's put a C chord. And that takes us back in. Spent far too long talking about that. That's definitely what happened in the studio. Go ask Paul McCartney. He would tell you, he'd remember. That's how we get back into G. That's how we get back into the first part of the song. That's how you write a song. That's how you write a song.